A good Erev Shabbos, Young Israel. I hope all are well and stay so. Mazel tov to Tamar and Dr. David Schwab on the bris of grandson Nachum Bitzala, born to children Doctors Ari and Shlomit. The Rav Ari and Shlomit have nachas, have enjoyed their beautiful new addition, their new son, and together with David and Tamar, Larach Yamim Rishonim Tovim, nachas to Kedusha, the growing mishpacha. Back in 1972, Ben Gurion was already not so well, retired to Kibbutz Sde Boker. At one point, he reached out to Rav Yisrael Lau, Shalita, the former chief rabbi, with a number of questions on Tanakh. Ben Gurion was a lover of Tanakh, and he studied Tanakh, and he had some questions for Rav Yisrael Lau. He asked if we could visit with him. Ben Gurion, so Rabbi Lau was honored, travels to Sde Boker, discussed a number of questions back and forth, and towards the end, Rabbi Lau had a question for Ben Gurion. That's Mr. Prime Minister. You've asked me questions. I got one question I'm always wondering about. There's a story going around that back in 1937, during the mandate before the Peel Commission, Ben Gurion was arguing for the rights of the Jewish people for statehood. And after a long debate, several hours back and forth, in which Ben Gurion advanced the Jewish argument, so at one point, Lord Peel himself, after 3 hours, asks, "Does Mr. Ben Gurion, where are you from?" Plansk. Where's Plansk? Poland. So I don't understand. The Arabs, they claim they all have roots in Palestine. You're from Plansk, Poland. What right do you have to the land of Israel? The Arabs have a kusha. They have a deed, a Turkish deed that filed in their courts that demonstrating their ownership of the property. Where's your equivalent? Where's your deed? Where's your title? Where is your kushan? So Ben Gurion answers, takes that. He was aware that he had been holding a Tanakh, having to affirm the swear previously. He picks up his Tanakh and he waves it triumphantly at Lord Peel. This is our kushan, this is our deed. That's the Tanakh, the Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. That's our entitlement to the land of Israel. So Rabbi asks, is that a true story? So Ben Gurion was very proud. And Betvi Yatziv, true story. That is exactly what happened. So Rabbi Lau said, I have a question for you. If in fact this is our kushan, this is the deed, this is our deed, the Tanakh is our deed, what would happen if you take the kushan and you destroy it, and you crumble it up, you rip some pages out? What would the status of the deed be under those circumstances? What gives you the right, ask Rabbi Lau, to accept the kushan, accept the Tanakh for some things, and not for other things? That's the equivalent of taking your kushan, crumbling it up, where some things, so Shabbos, not so much. Rights to the land, absolutely, etc., etc. Kashrus, not so much. As Jewish statehood, so that, yes, rights. But if you accept the kushan, if this is your kushan, you got to accept the whole thing. You can't take your kushan and start ripping pages out of it. Ben Gurion was a very smart man, said Rabbi Lau. He didn't answer me. Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky, Zichron Lefrach, would point out there was only the second year, only Bashana Hashenis, did Hashem set up the Degolim, the Alsas, where each tribe or and then ultimately each group of 3 tribes had their own flags, had their own machna, their own place, their own, each of the flags, according to the Midrashim, reflecting different characteristics, different traits of the particular Shevet. Why didn't Hashem decide this right away? Yitzias Mitzrayim. Why did Hashem wait till the second year? So Rabbi Yaakov Zichron Lefrach would explain that it's okay. Every tribe has different, every Shevet has different characteristics, and each excels at different things. But the basic requirement, you can't focus on the details. You can't pick and choose until you first have the Mishkan. Once you have a Mishkan that unites, then you can have a flag. But before the establishment of the Mishkan, before the Kamas HaMishkan, there were no Degalim, because you can't focus on your unique characteristics without first uniting and accepting the that's Hakadosh Baruch Hu and Torah as a whole. And that binder was the Mishkan. So therefore, says Rabbi Yaakov, it was only the second year after Hakamas HaMishkan that the Degalim were established and went into effect. As everybody has different things they're good at. Everybody has from a different shevet, has different strengths, and focuses on different aspects of Tarsenu Hakidosha. That's all okay. That's fine. However, we dare not forget that even though we each individual, each family, each tribe may emphasize different aspects of Tarsenu Hakidosha of our holy Torah, ultimately that kushan, the Torah is one, and one has to observe all of it. One can't pick and choose. Can't more of this, more less of that. Now there's certain basics that have to apply to all of the Torah in its entirety, and only after accepting all of the Torah, only after accepting the kushan, and that's the deed of our nationhood, of our relationship with the Ribbon Shalom, only then is it valued by others. Only then is it respected. We stood at Sinai. It wasn't some things, but it's Kol Asher Tziva Hashem Nasa. Everything that God commanded. We don't pick and choose. We may emphasize different parts over other parts. Depend each person, each Shevet is a different flag. But ultimately, we Kol Asher Dibur Hashem. We don't pick and choose. We accept the entire Torah in every facet completely. Have a good Shabbos, a great Yontiv.